When we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.
All right, welcome to another week of Manversations 2020.
Yeah.
What's going on, family? I'm glad you guys are here. We got a wonderful show for you guys tonight. I know we came in kind of late. We were waiting for after the football game. We didn't know it was going to go into overtime and take this long, but we are gracious enough for everybody tuned in right now that's up, that just wants to vibe and get some great information and great jewels. We have a super dope guest tonight, one of our originals. He's been doing a lot of things that really kind of hindered him from joining the show from the get-go. but we brought him along tonight to definitely drop some financial literacy jewels with us, and just to chill out and have a great show, man. See what everything is all about. Get to know Rick a little bit more. And you guys already know we are who we are and what we do and the type of show that we bring. So, anytime we have any special guests or anybody affiliated with us, it's always going to be something super dope or super great. So we got a great show for you guys tonight. So tune in and let's get it. All right. So as you guys know, the Kansas City Chiefs, they just won. They outmuscled what was a good Super Bowl. Some people are saying this ranks better than Super Bowl in the 1956 or something somebody has said. Outbeat them for that being the best Super Bowl so far. I do believe it was a good chess match. Andy Reid is one of those guys, man. I just tell people all the time about how Andy Reid is just a different type of dude when he's in the playoffs. And, shout out to the coaching job. And even when he got yelled at by one of his star players, he still kept his cool and still was able to do what he did to pull it off tonight. So shout out to Kansas City Chiefs for being resilient and coming back and gaining the win. All right. But before we go any further, I definitely want to acknowledge, Major is a 49ers fan. We have Bobby Drake, who is a Bengals fan. He didn't make it. My team is the Dolphins. We didn't make it. Rick, what's your team?
Hey, you can put me down for the Dolphins. I'll go with the Dolphins.
Okay, so he's the Dolphins too. So he didn't make it. So the only one that made it this far was Major. So we definitely want to give Major his props and his due diligence tonight. So let's give him his great picture for the night. So shout out to Major tonight. I know they definitely, this is how
at least we got there. Hey, at least we got there.
I know the 49ers fans are feeling like this right now. It's incredible. But, they did make it. They did make it far. But remember what Ricky Bobby said. If you ain't first, you're last, baby. So I definitely want to give another salute. So just to carry us out into the show right quick, I want you guys to bow your heads for this loss for Major and everybody else that's the 49ers fans that's going through this loss right now. So with no greater affair, I do want to play this video for him.
You ain't shit. Don't let nobody else tell you no different. Don't let nobody else tell you no different.
This man
ain't from shit. The late great Kevin Samuels from the sky, looking down on the sky, wanted to salute you from the heavens above. So
that was an ancient moment if I ever seen one. And boy, let me tell you. Well, shout out to Niners gang, Niners Nation. They played a hard game, man. That shit was close. It had us on the edge of our seats, man. That shit was like a movie. So
yeah, it was a good game.
It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Them boys fought with everything they had, though. Shout out to Niners.
Yes, it was a good game because it was 4th and 1, and me and Rick was sitting here. It's 4th and 1. Patrick Mahomes was backed up, and they end up pulling the first down, and then next, they end up getting a touchdown strike. So yeah, it could have went either way.
Yeah,
highly competitive. Highly competitive.
Definitely highly competitive, man. So we all shooting for the Super Bowl next year, all three of our teams. So let's gear up for this year, I should say.
We'll be back.
Yes, definitely.
We'll be back.
And hopefully Dolphins can end up making it this year coming up.
I wouldn't mind being
that's what Tyreek Hill was talking about in the media, that if we don't make it in 2025, it's either win or bust.
Okay.
All right. So definitely looking forward this year. But as you guys know, that we are in Black History Month. Last week we gave you guys some great tips for a lot of the Black History. We told you that Manifestations, what we were trying to do was to basically bring history that a
Yeah.
lot of people didn't know, highlight a lot of history that a lot of people didn't know about. So one of the major things that we did last week was we highlighted each day of the month was highlighted as somebody great doing something at that moment of the date in the month. So every day in the month we highlight something great that has happened in Black history, and we pretty much pick individuals that a lot of people did not know about, right? So I think February 4th we left off last Sunday with Rosa Parks being born. So right now we want to continue that trend and let you guys know all the great things that happened up to today's date, which is 11th. So from February 5th to the 11th, let's go through some Black history knowledge real quick. So do you guys know Jefferson F. Long, who he is?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Okay, cool. So Jefferson Franklin Long was a U.S. congressman from Georgia. He was the second African-American sworn into U.S. House of Representatives and the first African-American congressman from Georgia. Long was the first African-American representative to speak on the floor of the U.S. House opposed to the amnesty bill that exempted former Confederates serving in the House of swearing allegiance to the Constitution. He remained the only African-American to represent Georgia until Andrew Young was elected in 1972. All right, so shout out to Jefferson F. Long. Definitely a good brother. Next, we have the Mayflower of Liberia. Does anybody know about that? No?
No.
Nobody knows about the Mayflower of Liberia?
I know that there was some Black Americans who were sent to Liberia. Is that what you're talking about? With the Black Americans?
Yes, correct. Correct.
I didn't know that's what it was called, but yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah. Okay,
cool. So like Major was saying, a lot of people didn't know about that. Well, on this date, in 1820, the Mayflower Liberia was set sail. This was the first organized Black emigration back to Africa. It began when 86 free Blacks left New York Harbor aboard the Elizabeth ship, the Mayflower Liberia. They were bound for the British colony of Sierra Leone, a country that welcomed free Blacks from America and fugitive slaves. It arrived on March 9th of that year. So shout out to the Mayflower Liberia, and that's the Black history behind it. A lot of people didn't even know that. Cool. So on February 7th, we have, of course, what we are doing now, which was Carter G. Woodson, who created the Negro Week that ended up evolving into Black History Month. Yeah. So everybody that knows this is pretty much a given, but we just wanted to highlight again that Carter G. Woodson is the one who created the Negro Week, which we celebrate today as Black History Month. So shout out to Carter G. Woodson for his great accomplishments and highlighting us and making us highlight our ancestors and don't forget our ancestors as well. All right, so February 8th, we had Debbie Thomas. Do you guys know about Debbie Thomas?
Of course, the dance.
Okay, so
I know that.
Oh, hold on, no. I'm thinking Debbie Allen. Debbie Thomas, ice skater. Yeah.
Yes, Debbie Thomas, the ice skater. On February 8th, Debbie Thomas, a figure skater, made history by becoming the first African-American to win the women's single title as a U.S. National Figure Skating Championship. This achievement occurred while she was pursuing her pre-med studies at Stanford University. Wow. Shout out to that sister for doing something great while being occupied with getting another great thing under her belt. Wow. All right. Okay, February 9th. Do you guys know about Bernard Harris Jr.? No? Okay, so Bernard Harris Jr. Is a former NASA astronaut. On February 9th, 1995, Harris became the first African-American to perform an extra vehicle activity which spacewalked during the second of his 2 space shuttle flights. He was the first, became interested in being an astronaut watching the Apollo 11 mission on TV in 1967. So shout out to this brother for watching something, being inspired, and then end up being part of history and also being on another planet doing what majority of us will never do. So shout out to Bernard Harris Jr. for his great accomplishments on that. All right, so on February 10th, Mary Violet Prince. Do you know Price? Mary Violet Price. Do you know who she is?
Never heard that.
That name sounds familiar. Is she an opera singer?
Yeah, she's an opera singer. So Mary Violet Leontine Price is a American soprano who was the first African American soprano to receive an international acclaim. From 1961, she began a long association with the Metropolitan Opera, where she was the first African American to be a lead performer. She regularly appeared at the world's major opera houses, including the Royal Opera House, San Francisco Opera, the Lyric Opera of Chicago, and LA Scala, which she was also the first African American to sing a leading role. She was particularly renowned for her performances of the title role in Verdi's Aida, right? So this woman has definitely really pushed the envelope, entering the space that's normally not occupied by fellow Black folks. So definitely shout out to Mary Violet Price for doing such a phenomenal job. And
she's still alive too, by the way.
Yes, she is.
She's almost
still alive. She had retired. I think she retired in 2000. When she retired? I think she retired like early 2000s or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds about right.
So shout out to her for doing such a phenomenal thing. And as today, February 11th, Clifford Alexander Jr. If you don't know who Clifford Alexander Jr. is, he was an American lawyer, businessman, and public servant for New York City. He's first served on the National Security Council during the Kennedy administration, becoming the chairman of the Equal Opportunity Commission in 1967. He was appointed to Secretary of Army a decade later, becoming the first African American to hold that position, and he served that role until 1981. So shout out to that brother for doing a phenomenal job and providing great services for our country. All right. So that's it for Black history.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you give the props that they gave Travis Kelce for inventing the Bootsy fade.
See, here you go.
You forgot. You forgot that. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, how could you leave that out? You dig? And the props that they gave Taylor Swift for inventing swag surfing. You gotta make sure you put those two things in. Yeah,
I can't see the thing about it that I don't do that because I don't pretty much entertain satire. You know what I'm saying? So we don't do that here on Manifestations. We don't entertain satire, fake news or whatever you want to call it.
Fake news.
We don't do that publication over here. We report the real and the facts. Let the dominant society fabricate and colonize whatever they want to try to colonize or rebrand. Same thing with the braids of what's her name, the Kardashian.
God.
So if it's not the Kardashian braids, then it's the Bootsy fade that is brought up by Kelsey. So
they try to gentrify all our swag, bro.
Yes. So we give you the real inventors and the pioneers over here. All right. And that's why y'all love this platform so much. We keep it 100.
Yeah.
And speaking about keeping it 100, like I said, Black History Month, make sure you guys go out to www.sipandscentcandlebar.com and try out our new coupon code, Manifestations 2020. So put Manifestations 2020 in the box, spell it out just like that, and get an additional, I believe, 20% off, man, which is a huge saving, and you're getting great products. Like I said, we had the beautiful sister on here explaining what she does and how much care she puts into the products, and it's products designed for both men and women. So go out there if you're having a late gift, get the orders out now. I'm sure she's shipping them out as soon as possible. Make your order by Monday. Hopefully it get to you by Wednesday. You know, maybe it might be a little late. Hey, if your peoples don't mind it be a little late, then go ahead and get that, and it probably reach there by Thursday. Who knows? All right. So definitely check out this site.
Whatever you do, don't pass out the gifts on the 15th. Everyone knows that's Side Chicks Day. Wait till the 16th. Make sure it's a gap in advance. I'm trying to save somebody's relationship now. This is going to save a marriage right now.
It is.
A gift on Side Chicks Day. You have been warned.
Right. Definitely.
Does she have bulk ordering?
Yes.
Some of us have a few.
She fulfills all needs. All needs you need. She's got her hands on top.
Okay, Prince Akeem. Okay, Prince Akeem.
Don't give the wrong ideas to the listeners. My God.
Yes.
Shout out to that sister. She's phenomenal. You know
phenomenal.
Indeed, go ahead and show your love, man. Definitely. She has great products too.
Definitely. So we have our super dope guest for tonight. You guys are going to see how super dope he is. Professor Rick on board. I was at the venue that we had. Let's see if I can pull it up. He was a guest speaker at a Black
Excellence
networking ball, and he was a speaker out there, and I went out there to go hear my good brother drop some gems, and I was like, yeah, we need to get Rick on and let him drop some gems here, because he only had a certain amount of time to drop those gems. So we said, all right, you know what, let's get him on here, and he can drop as much gems as he wants and have as much time he needs to drop the gems. But this is my outfit. I was out there, you know what I'm saying, Black Excellence Networking Ball. Definitely doing our thing out there, supporting the good brother. I had to suit up because, you know, my brother came out there with the professor suit. That boy was out there clean. So I had to get like Rick. I couldn't come half stepping. So, you know, that's what it is. All right. So financial literacy, a lot of people don't know what it is. So financial literacy is a possession of skills, knowledge, and behaviors that allow an individual to make informed decisions regarding money. Financial literacy, financial education, and financial knowledges are all used interchangeably. Financial unsophisticated individuals cannot plan financially because of their poor financial knowledge. Financial sophisticated individuals are good at financial calculations. For example, they understand compound interest, which helps them to engage in low credit borrowing. Most of the time, unsophisticated individuals pay high costs for their debt borrowing. So I just want to go through some of these things, and then we can definitely get Rick to basically go over again in his way and let us know what's good. What's the meaning of financial literacy? Financial literacy refers to the ability to understand and apply different financial skills effectively, including personal financial management, budgeting, and savings. All right, so what are the four main financial literacy? The basics of money matters is the four fundamental pillars. That's debt, budgeting, saving, and investing. It's the understanding how to build wealth through one's life by leveraging the power of these pillars. Next, we have 6 ways to improve your financial literacy. Subscribe to your financial newsletters for free financial news information in your inbox. Listen to financial podcasts, read personal finance and books, use social media, keep a budget, talk to a financial professional. All right. What is a famous quote about financial literacy? If you don't understand the language of money and you don't have a bank account, then you're just an economic slave. The widespread in financial literacy has raised a good deal of concern among the government agencies, policymakers, and leaders in the community and business sector. All right. 3 key components to financial literacy: an up-to-date budget. Some tend to look at the word budget of the word as diet, and most basic and budget is just a spending plan, dedicated savings and saving to spend, and identity theft prevention. Next, we have what is the 50-30-20 rule? 50-30-20 budget rule states that you should spend 50% of your after-tax income on needs and obligations that you must have or must do. The remaining half should be split between savings and debt repayment, 20%, and everything else you might want the 30% for. What are the 5 principles of financial literacy? That's earn, save, invest, protect, spend, and borrow, providing you with the actionable insights to enhance your financial knowledge and make the most of your resources. Next, we have what is the downfall of poor financial literacy? Lower savings and investments, since financially illiterate individuals often lack knowledge to make informed decisions about savings and investing, which can have an impact on economic growth at the national level and limit access to your financial services. Next, we have what is the consequences of the lack of financial literacy? Financial literacy causes broken homes, school dropouts, dependency on predatory lending, payday loans, and government benefits, health issues, stress, depression, anxiety, bankruptcies, foreclosures, divorces, homelessness, deficiency in economic development, and even murder, suicide in some extreme cases. All right. Next, what is the golden rule of financial literacy? The golden rule is don't spend more than you earn and focus on what you can keep. And then next we have who struggles with financial literacy? 75% of American teens lack confidence in their knowledge of personal finances. 25% of Americans say they don't have anyone they can ask for trusted financial guidance. 23% of US adults ages 18 to 29 have credit card debt that's over 90 days overdue, and Americans owe over 1.3 trillion in credit card debt as Q2 of 2023. And the last we have here, before we let Rick take over, is how does financial literacy affect mental health? The relationship between personal finance and mental health runs deep. Just a balanced diet and exercises are critical for physical health. Financial well-being plays a significant role in your mental well-being. Financial struggles can lead to stress and anxiety, affecting your overall mental health. All right, with that being said, we definitely want to put it over to Professor Rick and let him take over and inform us more on financial literacy.
All right. Thank you, guys. I guess let me introduce myself to the conversation. Professor Rick Lebrun. I'm a finance professor. I'm also a human behavior professor too, so that's my interest in combination. Been doing this for been a collegiate professor for the last 7 years. So definitely changing minds. Actually, I just finished a professional weekend with for executive MBA program. They had their professional weekend seminar. So just had to evaluate some presentations, some rapid change plans. What was else done? Strategic marketing plans or whatnot. Man, listen, this is the first time there's probably a few things I want to change that like the golden rule we'll go back and talk about. I think golden rule is just it might be more subjective. I don't agree with that golden rule, but everything else definitely. I think that's the biggest problem in our community. And I'm going to talk from the Black community. I talk from my community, and my community is the Black community. I'm not saying that no one else can't learn, but definitely I speak in to help my own community. I'll start with this story. I remember graduating from finance school, graduating with my master's in finance. By the way, currently I am a data science PhD student. But I
Wow.
remember graduating with my master's and watching all the black. It was a lot of black graduates. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of black graduates, but they all were sitting in the education line, masters in education, doctorates in education. They were sitting over there, and the finance line was this tiniest line. It was 12 of us. 2 of us were black.
Damn.
The rest were white men, not even white women. And fortunately for me, the other black person was a black woman. And I don't even think it's fair to count her because both her parents are PhDs. They're college professors themselves. They're PhDs. So, she was, and finance seemed to be I think her father is a PhD in statistics, and her mother was in biology or something like that. So these are deep math, science, STEM. It was a real STEM family. So I don't even know if we could really count her because she was going to school regardless. And I really looked and I watched all these white guys, and I realized all my classes were white guys. So I don't know anyone who said, "Hey, I'm going to school for finance."
It's true.
I think as a black community, we think because we can make money, we know money. Right?
That's real.
I think that's a big problem. That's problem. Problem number 2 is I think, and I'm suggesting this is, I don't have definite research, but I do have a lot of ideas and theories that probably back it, and a personal experience. One is, I think as a culture, first thing we need to do is get rid of the idea that we do know. And the second thing we need to do is get rid of these incorrect notions of what success looks like in our communities.
I like it.
Yeah.
We like to look like success and not actually attain it.
Because we don't know what it is. We think success is I can live this luxurious lifestyle chasing behind the idea of white privilege.
Right.
I think at some point we have to have the idea that we're going to create our own privilege or black privilege. So and the only way you can do that is making sure we do the first thing, understand that we don't know. So it's time for us to find out. We have a lot of black PhD, and I'm not going to say only school is the way you can learn. We have a lot of individuals that know their stuff, and I think we need to start maximizing their influence on our communities. Right?
Okay.
Just maximize it. I know a lot of people may not even listen to me because I'm not pulling up in the G-Wagon and covered in jewelry.
Talk about it now.
Though I'm not mad at jewelry. I'm not mad at the watches. I'm not mad at jewelry because if bought and done right, it can be an investment. You can win. Anthony might not know that we've done some business, and my portion of the business came from selling a portion of my sneaker collection.
Nice. Okay. That's the way.
I like that though. Yeah. I like that.
I had the ability to peel a quick $10,000 out of my sneaker collection, not out of my funds, but see, we have to understand. So I'll just give this trick. I don't think it works anymore anyhow, but if it does, feel free. So that money came from the idea of me understanding the popularity of Jordan 1 sneakers. So anytime I can find Jordan 1 sneakers between size 9.5 and 11, which is very popular size, and if I could buy them at box price or under, I buy it, whether I like them or not.
Right.
Because once they disappear off of the Foot Locker and the Foot Action, the sneaker store, the box store, sneaker store, they double in price. So imagine you bought something for $125 and in 3 months it turned into $250.
Right. Nice.
Yep.
Okay, I see you, dog.
So it's simple things like that you just gotta understand. You just gotta understand the finance. You gotta understand one. Another thing. So in efforts to help, and you can stop me anytime if y'all got any questions, guys.
Are you good, man? Go. You got it.
I like to explain this. So we have people say, "Oh, well, I run into people," and by no means am I getting ready to down talk anybody, especially any black professional.
Okay.
I get with people and I say, "Hey, let's put together a financial plan for your business, for yourself." People come and they tell you stories. So okay, let's do it. There's some theories and there's some concepts that I know you don't know. Listen, oh, I'm fine. I got an accountant. She does my taxes, or he does my taxes. My cousin, he's an accountant. I'm gonna go talk to him. Accountant. Now, our accountants. I want you to talk to your accountant. Yes, but the problem is, if you don't know what questions to ask your accountant, you're not going to get the answers you need, right? And this also comes from everyone's running to their accountant because they believe their accountancy and finance is not the same thing. They're similar. They have a few overlapping places, but it's two different concepts. So,
okay, go ahead.
I will give you an example.
Yeah.
Say I'm trying to walk across the street, and let's say I take 10 steps from my sidewalk to the other sidewalk.
Okay.
Towards the other sidewalk. Your accountant's job is to tell you what happened. That you took 10 steps. There's 10 steps where got you halfway or a quarter. They can tell you everything that has happened. Financial advice, a financial manager will tell you everything you need to do to get to the other side.
Okay.
So one would tell you
what happened,
you get there, and the other one would tell you how to step in what way to get to the other side.
Yes. One will tell you how many steps you took. The other one will tell you how many more steps you need to take.
Okay.
Right? They do intersect, because to know how many other steps you take, you need to take, you do need to know how many steps you've taken, right?
True.
Right? And then sometimes you need to know how many steps are left to know how many steps you took.
Okay.
So that's where the confusion comes from. But let's say this, they're looking at it in two different directions. They may sit at the same table, but they're not sitting at the same seat.
Gotcha.
All right, so check this out. So me, because I've had people approach me with this stuff all the time, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of just brush them off, because I'm very financially stable. I'm gainfully employed. I have, I've put away some money in my 401k. I have, different types of funding set aside for different things. I have life insurance, all that stuff. So, like, to the person who, of course, none of us have everything all figured out, right? But to the person who's the cynic and is like, hey, man, I don't want to hear all this shit. Like, how do you woo them over? Because I'm going to tell you, the average person, they're kind of on that. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of on that.
I may be the wrong person to ask.
Okay. That's what I want to know.
Because I believe every idiot's downfall is a teaching lesson for a smart man. So either you can become the lesson that's getting taught, or you can learn the lesson that's being taught.
I get what you're saying.
That's how I operate. That's me. Because you can't paint pictures for blind people. That doesn't make any sense.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying to you is this, because there are plenty of smart people who think that, who feel that way. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, okay, for the person who doesn't necessarily see it, because there is a pool of scamming people out here. You understand where I'm coming from? And they suspect when they hear, oh, I want to teach you financial literacy or whatever the case may be, a lot of people suspect that the people who would be teachers of financial literacy and who are probably very legit and can help you with some things, they just kind of throw them all in that pool of would-be scammers.
And I respect that. What happens is, okay, I'll tell you this. Maybe this will answer. Okay. Help you answer. I answer it in this fashion. I make sure I don't operate in the same fashion as those social media finance gurus.
Okay.
I won't ever call myself a finance guru. I will make sure, if anything, I will tell you I am a professor of finance before I'm a finance guru, or I hate to go, like I said, I'm not here to bash anybody, but I won't use, I'm a stock trapper, or I'm not going to use any cool. I'm going to keep and I realize what happens is those that really are looking for a professor, a teacher, they'll come to me because I hold myself that way. Not that, hey, I'm very flashy, because I don't want to speak to anyone that needs to see that flashiness. So because I've separated myself, I don't think I have yet to run into someone. Now, I don't run into anyone that wouldn't trust me, but maybe I might run into someone that thinks they may know as much as I do. And that may not be the truth, and that's fine. It seemed like, okay, it's just like you said, I'm employed, I have my retirement, I have my life insurance. You're not someone who you probably still end up learning from me because you have things that I can talk about.
Okay.
I can ask you questions, because see, I'm going to ask you, okay, why would you choose these things? What made you get life insurance? I can start there, right?
Okay.
And how about that? What made you go get some life insurance?
Because you want to be sure that if you pass, you're taken care of. Your debts are taken care of. People are not going to have to go around and start a GoFundMe to bury you. That type of thing. You want to make sure that you leave the people around you that you care about with something.
Okay. So, and I love that answer. But what if I told you, I'm going to ask you this. What if you take your family for the last 10 years, this past 10 years that has happened, and your family was able to get $100,000 for every person that passed in the last 10 years? How much money would that be?
Well, for my family, it wouldn't really be any. Well, no, nothing. Nobody's
in the last 10 years. No one's passed.
No.
Okay.
We're very fortunate.
Yeah. Thank the Lord, as they say.
Yeah. Hey, man. But I get where you're going with it.
Us as Black people, I know people that I had 10 people pass in the last 3 years. Wow. That's $1 million.
Jesus.
That's $1 million. Do you know how much $1 million would? So now, if I told you, if you really had a game plan and you always gave you always put $100,000 on everyone in your family to pay out into a trust, and that trust actually started taking care of your family, it had $1 million. Now I can buy a couple of homes cash.
Yeah, that's different. Now you're talking to me. Yeah.
See, so this is the difference between me coming around and telling you to get an LLC, business funding, and get you a G. You could get a G-Wagon and write it off. I'm not. That's not the conversation I had.
Right. That's what I'm looking for, because I know how a lot of people look. I'm not saying that people like yourself.
Yeah. No, I know. I get it.
The skepticism is real. You feel me? And so, okay, how do you overcome that hump? Because I know that you say you don't really talk to cats like that, but isn't a certain degree of the business winning people over to an extent?
See, this is not my business.
Okay.
Okay. And I tell people, you got to be careful when it's their business.
Okay. I see where you getting at, Rick, and I think I also understand where you're coming at from. So, specifically when it comes to finance, for the reasons that you're talking about, Major, the approach, I think, and it's sad that it's the case, but the approach has to almost be different from how you have other models and things that's out there. Because I think what happens is the key is, especially when you talk about things like finance, there's no easy way to get around it. Finance is money, and money is mathematics.
Right.
I don't care how much you want to slice and dice it, how much you want to julienne it, or you want to deep fry it. When you're talking money, you're talking math, plain and simple.
Okay.
Most people do not like math. STEM fields, even though they're lucrative, there's a lot of opportunities there for growth and advancement. There's a reason why a lot of those jobs do not get filled and they have vacancies, because everyone is not able to function, especially with that upper level math at that level. So a lot of people are looking, and some of it is laziness. I'm sure Rick can definitely testify to that. But some of it's also a comprehension barrier as well too. But there's a lot of people that's looking for a quick fix with money, and that's part of the reason why I know Rick says that he stays away from the flash, or how people list him if he had the G-Wagon and the Benz, whatever. The quick and cheap and dirty way to find out, or to determine who's got it and who doesn't, is who's flash. And so whoever's got the big chain, whoever's got the latest Lamborghini, they have the big house, this person must know what they're talking about.
Well,
but those same things can be used to trick people, finesse people. I've been to those when I was.
I want to correct it. People don't even look for big houses anymore, too.
True.
Well, that's too much work. They had to Google and look up addresses and stuff.
Yeah. It's too much work. People don't even do that. But yeah, it's a lot of flash. They worry about. So once you understand what you're looking for in money. So let's just say this. I'm not mad at us as Black people. We're looking for people who have more than us to learn from. That's logical. It's logical. It makes sense, right? But you got to understand what more than you looks like.
Okay.
That's where I think the fault is going. Yeah, you could go get it. You go get this. I tell everyone, I watched someone, and he actually got into a little bit of an argument with me. And he was telling me, "Oh, business funding. I go out, I get a business credit line of $50,000, and I go find a house. I buy the house. I put the $50,000 down as the down payment. He finances the other 50,000 is 20%. Finances the other 80%." Then opens up another credit line and renovates the home. I said, so if you buy the home, let's say you bought the home, it was $50,000. That was, let me see, I got to do the math, right? Because it was a while ago. 50,000, 20%, 50,000 divided by 20%. That's $250,000 home, right? Right. Then, so he basically financed a whole 250,000. He owes 250,000. Then he was like 50,000 to fix it, right? So you add 50,000, that's 300. So 50,000 divided by 250. That's 20,000. So he financed the home at 120% of its value.
Mm-hmm.
So if he doesn't sell the home more than 120%, he doesn't even break even.
Got it.
And while he's doing that, he's leveraged out. It just doesn't make any sense.
You hustling backwards.
There's a bigger concept of building a runway. We have some time. So anytime you do any type of investment or business per se as an investment, every business has to have its time to take off, right? A business is like an airplane. It needs a runway to take off. The problem is a runway is something that should be bought cash. It should be a cash flow of the business, or it should be an equity, or it should be liquid, as they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You can't purchase a runway on credit, because as you get your business or the plane going, it's taking money. You're paying its money because it's bleeding it's not making money just yet, right? Plus, you have to pay the monthly on the runway. So if you got a 6 months runway, you got to pay the 6 months of the runway too, while trying to use the runway, while paying the 6 months. It's just your default already. You're already, if you know your runway is 60,000. I'm trying to explain it as condensed, because this could be a whole semester right here. If you know, this is startup math, right? If you know you need 6 months, your business needs 6 months. Every month you need $10,000 just to keep your business doors open, right? Your business also is short 5,000. It's going to be short $5,000 for 6 months. So that means you need $30,000 plus the $10,000 a month for 6 months. That is $60,000. So that's $90,000. If you take a loan out on that $90,000, by the time you get to the end of the 6 months, you still owe all the interest, and you'll still end up defaulting, because the business may be able to pay off the debt and start breaking even, but it's just now breaking even, and you just accumulated $90,000 debt before the business can start accumulate. So you're in the hole. You're dead. You're default.
Wow.
These are the things people don't pay attention to. So it goes to another point I want to make is saying vision without understanding is just another dream.
Okay. Real talk.
It's just another dream. At some point, we need to be able to go into our books, look at our books, understand our books enough to know what the questions are or the problems are, and then solve them. Until then, you just dreaming.
What would you say is a good starting point for someone who doesn't know anything about financial literacy, aside from talking to someone like yourself? Are there any like books or websites, anything like that?
YouTube has a lot. I would tell people this. One skill you need to know, I don't care what type of business it is, learn how to use Excel, a spreadsheet. Create your own spreadsheet for you.
Yeah. Okay. Anything specific on YouTube that you have, like, that you know?
I'll tell you this. Schools like to use, there's an Indian guy, and I know it sounds crazy, but it's an Indian guy.
I think you're talking about my boy.
Chandu is his name. Because they actually they quote this guy in these MBA school and business school. They quote a lot of his. He is definitely the Excel master. I think Microsoft pays
Chandu Rabithal.
Chandu is Chandoo. Chandu. Definitely. He's
Chandu Sai or Chandu Gadu.
maybe that one second one sounds a bit more fluent.
Okay. Chandu, Gadu. Okay. Oh man, this is not an
And he has like
no, this looks like an actor or something. Okay.
no. It's just Chandu.
Okay.
Chandu.
I've heard that name.
Okay.
Is this him right here?
Yes. Looks crazy in it. Yes. He is the Excel master.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just Chandu.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Check him out.
He knows how to do anything on Excel. If you go to Excel, and he probably show you how to create a template, how to track spending, and you know, like I should be, if you want to be able to, I tell people this, if I sit down with you, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. Yeah, that's the right way. Okay. I'm going to ask you, what's the thing you buy the most?
Right.
What's the thing, if you're a business, what is your most sold thing every month?
All right.
Do you know for the last 3 months, what was the top 5 items that sold out of your store?
Mm-hmm.
What if you have employees? What employee you pay the most? What employee you pay the least? What employee has the most hours on? What is the profit margin on things? These are all these questions you should know, because you should make decisions based off your books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you first start a business, I get it. You're guessing, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't even have to guess it too, because you can actually put out a survey, get some answers, and make decisions based off of the survey.
Okay. Well said. Okay.
So there's definitely a lot of things, and I think another thing we make a mistake in. I got a couple of list of things. Just I know I see a lot, or I hear a lot too. Even in teaching in business school, you hear it a lot. I was like, why would you do that? I think our community like to start businesses too big.
Okay.
How would you to start small and scale? Get it going real good and then start scaling.
Well, let me ask you this. It's a kind of a 2-part question. How do you feel about, because a lot of people who talk about financial literacy and so forth, they have almost an aversion to people working a 9-to-5. You know what I mean? And
that's stupid.
Man, I'm telling you what I see all the time.
I know. I'm just letting you know that's stupid. I never.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page, because you know I want to know how you feel about financial literacy from the point of view of the average person, the average everyday Joe, and how that gets them, without spending a lot of money, gets them to a point where they're more stable. Just the broad answer on that.
Just strategy. It goes back. Okay, difference between strategy and organized. A lot of us are very organized people, and a lot of organized people, it's easy for them to be successful because a lot of them by luck stumble upon strategy.
Right.
They're not they're not strategic.
Okay.
If you want your, in your case, you know, eventually you knew you want your girl, right? You want your girl. This is going to be my wife.
Right.
Once you put that game plan, you have to have a strategy on how you're going to operate to get to this point.
Real talk.
Right. So it's the same thing with business, money, finance. If you want to get to, you got to make a decision on what point you want to get to, and then make a strategy to get to that point. And it not always has to be, income is income. It doesn't have to be coming from a business.
Okay.
Some of us aren't good business. Some of us aren't good at business. Some of us aren't good at dealing with other people.
No doubt. No doubt.
That's factual.
Right. Some of us are good at trading out time for money. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, for those, I would tell you, if you're going to be working, and let me back off a little bit. there are, go back to what Bobby was saying. There are STEM jobs that are making 300,000 and 400,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I know that is probably more than 70% of the business owners I know are making with business. You could be a business owner and still not making 100,000. Most business owners are making 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
And with STEM, that's also falls under mostly remote jobs as well. So you could be chilling on the beach.
Yeah.
Now, how you use your money afterwards is a different story.
Exactly.
Start putting it into certain. Now,
that's the next battle.
That's the next battle. And for me, I tell people, spend the money your money makes. Hence my sneaker. Hence my sneaker thing. Hey, I like sneakers, but I'm going to spend the money my money makes. So if I buy this sneaker and it doubles my money, then I can go use that. I can cash out and go use it to buy the sneaker I really wanted. So I really bought the sneaker I really wanted at half price. Or if I do it enough time, I could profit enough to where I'm buying sneakers off of the money that my sneakers have already made. And that's, to tell you the truth, that's where I'm at with it.
Okay.
So that's kind of like investment bartering.
Okay. I don't want to use that word because it can be confusing. Okay. But I know what you're saying. So sometimes you might go do an investment. You do an investment. You have a game plan. I want to buy a house. I make a certain amount of money. I buy a couple of cars. I put them on Turo. They generate enough income where I use that income to now buy a house.
Correct.
Is that the kind of concept you saying? Like I'm bartering, like this investment.
Yeah. Leveraging your investment.
Leveraging your investment, but see how
so you really don't lose nothing.
Exactly. You bought the car. You might have bought the car with your own working money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
But now, is it cheaper to buy two cars? Probably, yeah. You might could go find two vans. Turo, the most rented car in there is like a Toyota Sienna. You go buy your used one of those, and people are paying $200 a month a day for that.
I think that's why drug dealers are so powerful in financial realms, because they use that same concept.
They do. That's their model.
So you
give me
never
a second, dude. I gotta step away.
Yeah, you never burn the re-up money, right? Mm-hmm. So if you start out and you say you get a QP for $250, and then out of the QP you can generate 3 times the amount, almost 4 times the amount. Mm-hmm. You make sure that you never use more than the QP amount. So you put the $250 aside to say, okay, I can always get the QP. Let me go ahead and use this other stuff for whatever I need, groceries, food, whatever, or even throw an extra $250 on there. Now instead of QP, I get a half. And I think that's the concept where a lot of drug dealers use, and that's why a lot of them are successful, because they use that.
What is that? What are you talking about?
Huh?
You keep saying QP. What is that?
Quarter pound.
Huh?
Quarter pound.
A quarter pound. Okay. You get a quarter pound for $250?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about old school prices. So
never mind why I asked that question. We just moving.
You guys are funny,
I picked up what you put down. I picked that
up. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I say a lot of our drug dealers have that concept and they're very successful with it. But I think a lot of them don't really have the extended intelligence of financially being.
No, they have it. So I remember I was working as a manager in a nightclub in my undergrad years in Orlando, and working for the Russians, right? And the Russian, they were like, man, David loves you to death. And I was like, David, man, everybody, it's all right. I don't need to work every night. He said, no, I like you. He said, I wish the rest of the black guys in the streets were like you, because you guys are smart. Y'all, the way y'all operate. He said, if you guys would get out of the street and stop selling drugs and start selling this legal stuff, no one could stop you. They have. I think what it is they don't believe that they have any other choice. A lot of
True. When I used to mentor, that's all I used to hear. That, I ain't had no other choice, man. And then I sit them down and I'll run down to them how many different choices they had if they just expand their mind. You don't think you have any more choices because the people you see in front of you and the people you see in your immediate surroundings, this is what they're doing. But once you remove yourself from that environment and you start really looking at people, who are doing different things, you start seeing some of these people, even just the people within their own school, because I was in dropout prevention and I used to mentor the underclassmen, right? And I used to talk about, some of the people who were graduates or some of the people who were right there in school with us, because we had people like myself. I started working when I was 14. You understand what I'm saying? And like, by the time I was a senior, I used to hold my tips and bank all my checks. I had paper in high school. You understand what I'm saying? And I used to also sell. I used to buy my little snacks and sell them to school. Never touched a paycheck my whole last couple of years of high school. And I was just I was giving them game like, as long as these are the guys that you look at and the guys you pattern yourself after, because this comes from, unfortunately, a lot of us not having fathers in the home. If these are the guys you pattern yourself after, your mind may not go any farther than, just what you're seeing them do. And like you said, once you open their mind, to the many different avenues they have to be able, especially when you still got your freedom, you ain't got no felonies yet. You ain't got no smudges on your record. When you're still young, a lot of us, are able to do that a little better, right? No smudges on your record, man. You go in there, you learn how to interview well. You feel me? You get your little wardrobe tight, carry yourself a certain way before you know it. Boom, you there.
Yeah.
So that's real.
Especially. So I'm gonna give you a math thing that I never understood. To me, it's simple math. I don't understand, and I've been on this rant all week. And I'm I played football. I got to college on a football scholarship, so I was a college athlete. And if I could remove football from out of South Florida Black community, I would do it immediately.
Wow.
I don't understand why people will invest a life from 5 years old to 21 dedicated to football for maybe 4 or 5 spots that they open up every year.
True. The lottery.
When you can go get a STEM certificate in 6 months. And guarantee you a job that will start you at least at 60,000. So imagine you getting a job at 18 and you making 60,000 immediately.
Right. Yeah, that's G.
I think
I know why.
I think part of the problem is great representation, right? I remember I had put up a picture of 4 young gentlemen walking side by side. This was a post I did a long time ago. And I had put 4 football players, and they were all bench players. I made sure I put bench players. And I said, who makes more money? Everybody thought the football players made more money. And it was the four dudes. They were all friends, and they were in STEM. And these motherfuckers was really millionaires at the age of, I think they will range from 18 to 22.
Yeah. Imagine you 18, you get in a contract, you make $250 a year, and you there 4 years. That's $1 million already.
Yeah.
You ain't got to get beat on. You ain't got to do. You ain't got nothing. And you won't. you're going to retire because you want to retire, not because you have to retire. See, that's another thing. Football players have to retire because you're not going to take that.
Yes.
But you have to retire. I don't care what anybody say.
Yeah.
Even if you can't, even if you don't have to, they still gonna force you out anyways because you could be in optimal health. Once you reach a certain age limit,
you become a risk,
a liability. So you could be in tip-top shape, but how long they gonna keep you on when the next best hot thing, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, is right there? It's a no-brainer.
And the thing about it is, a lot of times you don't even have to be declining in age or anything like that. It's your skill set. You can have a young dude come out and have a better skill set than you and knock you out the block. You can't even get re-signed because this young dude is faster, more agile than you. You know what I'm saying? It's right now.
Father time is undefeated.
These kids are so genetically enhanced, man. It's like one come in and you like, yo, this is a golden dude, and next thing you know, you got somebody else come in and just more dominant. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but that's how it is, and especially if the spaces are limited. You know, so that's why I try to tell people about the alternatives. You know, but you know, just like anything else, people are going to consume what they see, and we see everywhere you go there's football players left and right, and then at a young age children tend to want to be like the other children, so whatever the majority get into, that child is more likely going to follow too because they want to be on that wave as well. And then you have, when you get into high school, now all the women swarm to the jock. So if I'm a dude, a young kid who's game goofy, who doesn't have enough swag or persona to get women, I can go put on a helmet and now I ain't got to do nothing and the women gonna come to me. So guess what I'm gonna do?
That's real.
So one thing I want to cover, I see in the comments. Team sports is probably one of the greatest learning lessons. I think me playing team sports made me a better team player. And when you're going into these people's organizations, I think a lot of skill sets I've learned from playing football, and actually I won 2 state titles, so I definitely got to play at a high level but then my biggest lesson was I got to college and we didn't win a game. Right. So I love that about it, but I just think we get so blind thinking that everybody can make it, and we don't give our kids a chance to be successful. It goes back to my conversation. We got to change what we see as success. I've never been a person that preached to kids that success is an actual dollar amount. It isn't. I don't believe. I'm here to tell you, generational wealth is not an amount. Generational wealth could be $100, it could be 100,000, it could be 100 million, it could be 100 billion. Same thing as generational wealth. Generational wealth is not the actual money, but what you do with the money. That knowledge that comes with. If I can give you $100 and teach you how to take care of your life with that $100, I just saved you.
Okay.
And we also got to understand that as parents, and I don't know if Rare Diamonds is a man or a woman. And the reason why I'm asking that is because if you're a man, that's super dope that you're in your son's life, because men kind of have a sense of understanding and recognizing a toxic coach versus a healthy coach. Because you can be on a team thinking that they're getting disciplined, getting the game of life, and you're really with a toxic coach that all cares about his winning record, and sometimes are very toxic about how they talk to the children and not really teaching them any lessons of life. So that's another thing that that I think a lot of parents have to watch out for. So, you are a woman, so okay, cool. That's pretty good if you are a mother who is guiding your child in the right direction and away from toxic coaches. Because there's a lot of toxic coaches, man. I had to check a lot of these coaches because the way they operate and talk to these children it's just out of control. There's a difference in some coaching styles that are out there instilling great things in your child in a harsh way, but they're not toxic. And you have to understand that gray area in order to maneuver in that area for the benefits of your child. So that's all I wanted to state on that part. And I have my point on that.
Let me also contribute. I think another key reason that gets overlooked sometimes is parental involvement and enthusiasm. So especially when we talk about starting off these kids at a young age, while there is some element of, association from their peers are doing it, they're interested and want to do it as well too. A lot of the times, kids are also going to lean on and gravitate towards what their parents are interested in. So if you have the option between football, for example, I'm just picking up football because it was the Super Bowl today. If you have the option between getting your children enrolled in football and getting your children clicked up with some STEM programs, what have you, unless the child has already somehow developed a natural desire to go towards STEM, if they see that the parent is excited about football, watches football, is always happy about football, praises football players, kids naturally want to please their parents and make their parents happy. So if they see that, dad's like, hey, you want to go play football with me? Or let's go play football outside. And they have those memories, whatever. It's only natural that the kids are going to want to go and get involved in that as well, too. If the parent is just as interested in STEM, if they have the same mindset towards, say, like a robotics club or whatever, where the kids build robots out of Kinects and Legos and erector sets and other stuff, and they're really passionate about it, they're excited about it, the kids are at least going to be willing to get involved with it. And once they start making friendships on site with other kids who are doing that, then it's going to become something that they look forward to and enjoy doing on a regular basis. Right. But if you're not enthusiastic, if you're not really excited, you don't have that same, gear up towards that like you are with football or sports, then the kids, especially when they're young, aren't going to get into it like that. And once they get older, they're already going to establish their own activities, their own likes and dislikes outside of that. When they're younger, they don't know anything yet. They haven't been exposed. It's your job as the parent to expose your children to different things. So if you're not exposing your child to these finance, mathematics, cyber programs, whatnot, what have you, then unless it's something that they just naturally gravitate towards, it's not going to happen.
And a lot of the parents also are using their children to be a mule to establish a lifestyle that parent hasn't established for themselves. And I see a lot of children get caught up in that crossfire of that because they don't really get to explore the area they want to, because a lot of times the parents are living their dream through their children and using them to get to the financial wealth off the backs of their child.
It's funny that you said that. Let me interject really quick. It's funny that you said that. I was reading a section of my devotional last week. I've been looking at this devotional that Tony Dungy did with another writer. I forgot what it's called, the something life improvement plan or whatever. But he's actually speaking on a player who was in the NFL around the time when he was coaching, and the brother actually retired, I believe, at age 32 from the league. No, sorry, he retired at age 30. And he said that he had overheard, and he wasn't a spectacular player, he wasn't a horrible player, he was about, baseline average. And he said he recalls the brother saying in an interview after he had retired that he actually hated football.
Wow.
And Tony was like, not dislike, but he actually hated football. And he said he listened further, and it's like, the brother's like, the only reason he was playing football for so long was because, that's what his parents put him in, that's what he was always doing. And so, he had some level of proficiency in it. And so he was able to be good enough to actually make it to the NFL, which most people don't get the chance to do. But he said he never liked suiting up for those games when everyone else, was excited about the game, the season, whatever. For him, it was literally the same attitude that we have when we wake up in our job in the morning, like, man, I got to go to work today. And when he retired, he started training and decided he wanted to go in the area that he actually had a passion for, which was MMA. He wanted to be a professional fighter.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That's what he actually wanted to go towards. But he did not like football, but he didn't have the avenue, didn't really have the opportunity to do anything different, whether it's because he wanted to make his parents happy, didn't want to let them down, or his parents didn't give him an option of doing something else. He went with it. But as soon as he got to a point where he no longer needed this and he finally got tired of doing it, he just hung it up and didn't think twice about it.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually a point that I was going to make, bro. Like, some of these parents, they just stick their kids in the programs without giving all of a hell about what the kid shows a gravitation to. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the kid gravitates to don't mean nothing to some of these parents. Like, I know that you can't let your kids outright dictate these things, but like, you should be observing your kid, and you should, know what your kid's interests are. If your kid is athletic, you want to put him in something athletic, cool. But I think to Rick's point earlier, you kind of want to spread, you kind of want to be, and your point just now, Bob, you want to spread the game out a little bit. We have a very narrow thinking when it comes to, what we do with our kids. It's pretty much, in the Black community, it's pretty much either football, basketball, or track. If we keep it in the ball.
And we'll even invest in track enough. If you knew,
not really,
track could really get you an easy scholarship.
Yeah.
And some free education,
Right.
especially girls. You don't even have to be fast. You'd be amazed how many. So schools have to have the same. Title IX requires them to have the same amount of girls' sports as boys' sports. I can't. In college, they got to give the same amount of girls' scholarships as boys' scholarship. Let me break it into that.
Okay.
And remember, football might be about 60 or 70 scholarships alone, and there is no girls' football team to balance that 60 or 70 scholarship. So they'll get the track this. So they'll have teams that they don't necessarily even care. They have to spend the money.
That's valuable information, bro. Yeah. Like, so wow. So at these
they have to spend the money, or they got to get rid of football.
Right, but I'm saying,
and there's certain sports events that we don't tap into. For example, when's the last time everyone talks, like you mentioned before, about track? The 4x4, the relays, the 100 dash, all that. When's the last time you ever heard about people prepping their kids to go do shot put?
Nothing.
That's track and field. It's a track and field event. It calls for absolutely no running whatsoever. You can be slow as a turtle, but build some upper body strength. Spin around several times, woof. I'm not saying that it's easy. I mean, there's difficulty involved, but if you're talking about getting access to scholarships and money, you have a bajillion different track and field runners out there. What's the competition field like for shot put throwers or discus haulers?
Right. No doubt.
When you talk about success, remember, you got to think outside the box. The NFL only got how many slots each year? The NBA?
Probably. And then with NIL, this has become I don't have no other word but shit show. It's become a complete.
The what?
NIL. That's what NIL. That's allowing kids to the college kids to get sponsorships from not the school, but sponsorship deals or whatever, where they get basically able to get paid. So if Chevrolet wants to go ahead,
they could do brand deals.
Got it. Okay.
Chevy ads, Rolex ads, or whatever.
The University of Utah, everybody on a sports scholarship gets a new Dodge truck because I think.
Wow. Yes. Okay.
Whatever their 1,500, they get a new Dodge truck. Every sport. Every sport, girl, boy, this and that. But that's what I'm saying. You don't even got to go that far to shot put. I'm not saying not to do shot put, but you don't even have to. It's simple. They're looking to put if you can fog this mirror up. Well, and you good at school. You actually, got decent grades, good grades, and we can give you a scholarship.
That's G. Let's
Yeah,
see.
we give you a scholarship.
I also want to make sure that the people know, like the sister who was in the chat, we're not banging on you for taking your son to football. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? But I like what you're saying. Like spread the game out, just broadly speaking to black.
You ask the finance person to speak. I'm going to always say diversify your investments.
I got you.
If something falls, oh, it's like the word hedge. I hear people say hedge. The technique of hedging is actually betting. Is putting a bet against your bet just in case your bet falls.
Right. No doubt. I totally get that.
So
let me ask you this. I got a question I want to ask you, bro, because we mostly talk about on this show, of course, manifestations is self-explanatory, but we have a focus on dating and relationships. So that being said, you being the finance guy, right? How you feel about 50-50 relationships?
That will work for you. If that will work for you.
Okay.
Okay, go back to the thing. Finance is also tied into your mental health.
Right.
Okay. So I can't tell you where you're comfortable at. You're comfortable there. Find it. Get to that point. Don't let no one else tell you not to be comfortable where you're comfortable at.
Okay.
If your household works well, first of all, if I'm going to just if I might well cause a little trouble.
Go for it.
I don't understand the question, because if we're together, we're talking about married couple, right?
Not necessarily.
That's the problem. Then what if we're not talking married, then what are we talking about? So
I agree, but we're dealing with the real world, not the ideal world. And if we keep it
the real world is I'm not married.
But I'm saying no.
The ideal world is you get to tell me, everybody else get to tell us how we deal. I think that's the problem.
But
at some point, we let them pull the rules on us.
People don't focus on marriage. People don't focus on marriage at all.
Well, if you ain't focused on marriage, it goes back to what I'm saying about your finances. If you're not focused, if you don't have a goal that you're going towards and you're not focused, why are we talking about a strategy to go nowhere? It doesn't make any sense.
I agree. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not asking for me.
I understand. I'm just trying to push the devil out the door. That's
I got you. I'm asking for the people who need it. No, you're right. The people who need the game. They slow. You feel me? The people who need the game need the game. And if we're keeping it a buck, you've been in some of these discussions, Rick, where these people go around and around and around, over the hills and through the woods, talking about this 50-50 relationship bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? So from a financial person's perspective, it makes absolutely no sense to me. And for most logical thinking people. But how do you feel? Because most of us, if we're keeping it a buck, we're not focused on marriage. Hold on. We're not focused on marriage. We live together. And
I'll use Miami Gardens, right? Because I've done my I know the economic numbers of Miami Gardens.
Okay,
right?
go.
For you to live in Miami Gardens, to successfully live in we don't even have to use Miami Gardens. We could just get some numbers. I'm gonna give you. There's the rule of 35%. You ever heard of it?
Okay.
So 35% of your monthly income should be your rent, or your mortgage, right? So we four guys here, what number we want to use for rent or mortgage right now, or rent, because most people ain't buying. So rent. The average person can't buy rent. 4,800 a month?
No, 1,400 a month.
About 14.
14? Where you guys? Where are y'all living? I think we doing these people justice, not giving them the 1,400 place where they can get the 1,400.
A bedroom or two.
I mean, let's say we a brand new budding couple, so it's a 1 bedroom.
Up to 1,750. Paying the hair.
17 what?
Between 14
and 1,750.
Yeah.
I'll go with 17 We'll do that. 1,700. You divide that by 0.35, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that gave you $4,857.14 is the monthly take-home income. If we're smart, we're going to do it a take-home income.
Mm-hmm.
So that means this should be like 78%. You take home, if we're not counting insurance and other stuff, you take home about 78% of your paycheck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to divide that by 0.78. That's now giving you $6,227.10, 11 cents, right?
Right.
We're going to time that by 12. That's $74,725.27 is the needed just to make minimum. That household needs to make $74,725.27. What is the average income at this point?
Yeah, the average income is way below that, especially.
I think it's about 40.
The average income
40,000, 40.
It's in the mid-40s for black males, high 30s for black women.
I think 42.
What is we can ask Chat GPT this. This is the beauty of this foolishness. What is what is
last
the
I saw, it was 41
average
for men, 38 for women.
Income
right. You're correct.
An individual in South Florida?
What you say it was, Bobby?
I said last I checked, was 41 for men, 38 for women.
Yeah, I thought it was
together they just now, both of their income together barely covers that $1,700 rent.
And that's why we talk about why we shouldn't be divided, because now the economy has really solely based us on two income households.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to cut down this division between men and women.
Correct.
Find who works best in your system and link up.
Real talk.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
We love to find ways to lose. You know what I mean? Exactly. That's just not
innovators.
From a very practical standpoint, we're trying to use, many of us are trying to use a 1954 model of, what finances should look like in relationships in 2024. And it just doesn't make any sense. Inflation is through the roof. Like you said, when you do the math, even two people's salaries put together still barely cover the expenses of the monthly household dues. You know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make any sense. This is something that they've just beaten this dead horse forever, and it's just not realistic.
Cool. Because everybody
of people, not 14, not 14, 4% of people in this country live in a household with one income. It's ridiculous. It'll never work. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I don't even understand that question anymore.
Man,
matter of fact, I would just, in case somebody's listening and think that I'm going to entertain. I don't even entertain women that ask those type of questions anymore. You know how they say, women say, "Oh, I don't entertain anybody quote Kevin Samuels." Okay, cool, that's fine, and you have every right to, right? But I don't quote. Boy, yeah, 50-50, any of that 50. You need to be a problem solver, baby. And if you can't solve this problem, I don't need you in my space.
We gotta stop finding ways to lose. That's what it is. Go ahead.
To be honest with it, it's semantics, because the semantics of the question is really what causing the division. Because if you really break it down, I don't know people that's really 50-50. Like, listen, this is 1,400. You give me 7, you give me 7. I don't know people that operate in that.
We might not even be that. Okay, you said 41 and 30. What it was? 40. What was the
41 for the men and 38 for the women.
and 38 for the woman. I said at this point, you know that the mortgage or the rent is 30 should be 35% of your income. I pull out 35% of my income. You pull out 35% of my income. If these things are supposed to be, we get on a budget, and these percentage of our income goes into it.
But that's what I'm saying.
And if that makes it work, it makes it work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whatever works in your household, but I think the semantics of it is what's causing the division. Because to be honest, if I'm a man who's making 45 and she's making 30 something, my thing is I'll pay the rent, right? Wait, but you might want to pay the lights or something else or the groceries. I don't see where it's like everything is pinpointed to what
I grew up
put a percentage on it. You know what I'm saying? I think the fluidity of you two as individuals understanding each other's paychecks and understanding how y'all operate, that's how you guys flow. Because I've never got in a relationship with anybody and they looked at each other's paycheck. We looked at each other's paycheck and say, okay, what we gonna pay? We never had that. It's like, shit, I know what the hell I gotta pay.
I'll give everybody. I'll give everybody.
Huh?
I'll give everybody my parents' story. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a household where my dad paid all the major bills. My mom paid all the minor bills. Mm-hmm. Paid, like you said, paid the light bill, paid the cable bill, paid, she went to work. And they went on 40 years till now. Both of them, they're retired, and their investments pay all the bills.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
According to social media, your mother was being abused by your father and being taken advantage of. Shame on him.
And I've actually said that to my mom. I've said that to my mom. And you know what my mom's statement to the young ladies of current? She said, "You keep thinking I lost because you don't know what I was playing for."
Mm-hmm. That's grown women stuff. That's grown women gems.
That's grown. That's grown.
That's that 3-2.
My parents have been retired for more than 10 years, and they don't. I go with them to go look at their retirement money from their jobs. They have never touched it.
Nice.
Wow. That's living.
They don't have no reason to touch it. They don't.
That's living.
They're getting ready. The bank keeps telling them, "Hey, when you get to 70 years old, you have to take them. You have to take money, or it gets taxed."
Wow.
I mean, that's what people don't know that, but it gets taxed. If you don't use it, it gets taxed at that age.
They beg you to take the money.
That's another gem. See, I didn't know that. See, this guy's giving us gems.
You get it gets taxed. So, and it goes back. I guess that shows I grew up in that type of household, so I don't know what everyone's talking about.
Me neither.
See, and they would say that your father's a pussy because he doesn't pay all the bills. That's basically how
he's a rich pussy. He's a rich pussy that lives well. That's what he would tell you. See, my parents, they don't be concerned about what people think about. They can say that all they want, but my dad did just pull out money. He did pull out some money. He just bought my mom $130,000 truck. Yeah, now she can drive.
And I've seen it from the little time that I've been around Rick. I've seen how his parents operate. I see his mother came to our restaurant. I know the type of woman she is. That the type of woman she is, the average man cannot.
Yeah,
they would never be on the same wavelength. But it takes a special type of woman to operate in her space. And his father, you can tell, is a special type of man that operates with his life, just congruent together. It's crazy. No you know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of times we don't look at it from that level. We only look at the lens from this perspective that we think is just monolithic to everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody's dynamics is different. Same thing with the leadership. I don't answer questions about leadership. I don't answer questions about when I see posts about sassy men do this, submissive. I don't engage in those posts. Like Rick said, I walk away from them because it's the semantics of it that drives the division on it. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody is different. Because I can lead one woman real good. My leadership with another woman might look horrible.
This is true.
True. Real talk.
This is true.
Real
you got to know where to put the money at.
The issue and the disconnect we're having is that a lot of people are at war on account of social media. Social media is the general for a lot of people's lives, and they act like they are that they're soldiers in the army. True. They out here trying to fight for and trying to uphold these ludicrous standards that these people are living. Because, like you said earlier, Major, there's only a certain population or a slim percentage of the population that's actually able to live like that.
Correct.
Not to say that, and that's not to say that this didn't used to be the case beforehand, but we also know that there was a time in this country where you could literally provide for a whole family of 4 or 5 on one income, working fast food,
those
working
days are
at somebody's
gone.
factory, and then you had full pensions, you had benefits, the whole 9 yards. In some cases, you had a better benefits package than a lot of people today working careers that they had to go and get degrees for.
Real talk.
But the way the economy, the way the country is set up right now, the way the economy is
they're coming back now. Don't worry about that. It's coming back.
Oh yeah. But right now, it's not feasible to live that way. And you have a whole bunch of people that are trying to cling on to fairy tales and days of bygone past, and it doesn't add up. And people are literally undercutting blessings, undercutting favorable matchups and relationships just because if they get into it, people on social media are going to be clowning them and making them feel stupid. I got to live up the girl gang. I got to listen to what the red pill dude's talking about. It's insanity. Makes no sense.
It don't.
I want to know if this this video shows a bit of financial literacy. Your mate can also be a financial problem if you don't choose the right mate, or if you guys don't set up financial boundaries inside your relationship. Does this resonate, or is it something you guys have seen before?
Your laugh is never good.
This video.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Yes. Do it. Do it. Do it. Yeah. Do it.
Now, granted, I'm here to tell you, in that fashion, I wouldn't be surprised. There's probably more men who problematic with finance than the women.
You probably right. So? Yeah, you might be right, bro.
I think now, I think back in the days, women were more financially savvy with the money, but I think now women are more spending with the money and men are more frugal with the money. And that's what I'm seeing. Might be wrong.
So remember, you see the world through your perception, right? So, and your perception is molded because you're going to tend to group with like-minded men. And I realize that's something me and you share. Like, we like nice things, but we're not interested in stupid prices. Like, I like nice things, but I'm like, what? No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't mind going out to eat, but all the Roof Chris and Prime 112, I'm not interested. I don't like the food. Now, Poppy Steak do have a little issue. I do have a little issue. I'm trying to figure that out. But even there, I like it. I'm still not going. I'm not, I got to go every week. That's not men's thing. I mean, that's not our thing. But what I do know is other men like to be in those places and spend that kind of money because they're trying to attract women.
Yeah,
so you have to be very careful.
That's what I was thinking.
Be very careful. There's a lot more single men than there are single women.
I
No.
agree with that.
There's
The
not no
number
single
one, I would say that for men on average, the number one expense is women.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that, I think it should be easy to pick up on. But for the people who aren't picking up what I'm putting down, I'm saying whether it's taking women out on dates, whether it's buying gifts for them, whether it's doing things, basically whether it's to attract or to cater to or care for or to gift women.
Right.
Money is probably the number one motivating factor for spending with most men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have to be careful.
So I could see that. I could see that. And it doesn't necessarily stop when you're married either. And I'm not saying that dudes shouldn't spend money. I'm not saying they shouldn't take women out on dates. I'm not saying any of that. But I'm saying in terms of how men actually spend, in most cases, the bigger ticket items and the frequency of the spending is going to be related to women in some shape, form, or fashion.
Real talk.
And you goofy dudes out there. I know it's a lot of y'all goofy dudes out there. You'll be out here. I'm talking to dusty dudes. Let me talk to the dusty dudes. You guys will be out here in a relationship with a good woman, and you'll be frugal with that good woman.
Yeah.
And take the extra money and go tricking with that side woman.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Call him out.
Y'all don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Y'all don't do that shit. I'm not
certified.
I'm not here campaigning for anybody to be out there cheating or anything like that. But let me tell you something. If you're gonna cheat and you're gonna do it, make sure that the woman at the household gets way more benefits than your side. A lot of y'all dudes out here got y'all side girls getting way more than the woman at your house.
It's
when
crazy.
Shit go down and shit get low, the one at the house gonna hold you back. The one that you side chicken with, soon as shit get missing, she's gone. Y'all keep that shit in mind, man. Stop being out here being dusty dudes, cheating and doing that. Respect your woman, treat your woman nice, do what you gotta do. Right. With all that dusty shit y'all doing where y'all lowballing y'all main women, y'all riders, and then spending luxury stuff and trinkets on your sliders, stop that. Get that shit out your system.
Real talk.
I'm not endorsing anybody to move that way, but I'm gonna be perfectly honest. We're talking about how people move and do certain things.
Yeah.
A lot of these dudes that have a desire for multiple women or wanting to have side pieces or polygynous chicks or whatnot, a lot of them could actually have more luck with that than they currently do if they simply were better managers of their relationships. Problem is they don't know how to categorize and prioritize and hierarchize things. You out here got the side chick, she got more input than the main chick. You out here moving, you lying, you being deceptive. People don't know what they're dealing with. Y'all, you spending more time with the sides. It's out of control. I remember Cameron had revealed on the podcast. He was talking on the It Is What His podcast. Yeah. He was flashing back on a relationship he had where he also had a side chick, and he was with the side chick, and he said something to the effect of, he's going back home to he got an argument with the side chick, and he's like, man, whatever, I'm going back home to my main chick, and she told him straight up, stop talking stupid. I'm the main chick. And she's like, the hell are you talking about? You decide like you over here with me more than you are with her. You spend more on me than you do with her. Yeah. She calls, look for you. I always know where you at. I'm the main chick. And he was like, wow, shit, you're right. He's like, he couldn't be mad at it. She was 100%.
So do the side chick get the axe to go 50-50? What is the percentage for the side chick? So if it sounds like you guys saying we need to put a number on. So what is the number then at this point?
I say there is no number. I say there is no number. I say just don't be an infidel. That's what I say.
Don't be an infidel.
I'm dealing with one woman. That's for them dudes out there with that confusion. I'm good.
Yeah.
But then, then maybe we shouldn't leave no instructions. Allow them to crash and burn.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying the game I gave, I think, could really be applicable to a number of different areas as well too. You should be able to manage everything that you got. I think that a man should be able to manage effectively everything he's got going on in his life. That's your professional life, your relationships, whatever that may look like. how you raise your family, your children, how you manage your friendships, whatever you got going on. So that's a general bit of advice, but I'm not gonna push anyone that direction. I'm just simply saying whatever it is that you do, like the saying says, whatever you are, be a good one.
My thing
Personally,
is,
I think if you got the energy to maintain multiple relationships, I think you can go out and start a business with that extra free time. If you go stress over something, let it be something that's going to pull more money in and not have your money flying out your pockets faster. But that's me.
Yeah, my thing is, the reason why I say something is because, you know, a lot of times when guys hear stuff like that from other women, they look at it like you ain't a man, you know what I'm saying, or they get into an argument with a sister because they feel like the sister coming at them in a lecturing way. And a lot of times men are lectured by women because your mother always has some type of say so. So growing up, you build a resilience against hearing women because your whole life you've been hearing women in your household. The majority of the women have custody of their children. So throughout your whole life of growing up, you always took orders from your mother. And sometimes as men, you get disdain from that and you don't want to hear nobody else when you get older, especially not from no woman. So as manifestations, we're your big brother, we're your uncle, whatever, however you want to look at us. And we're out here to give you genuine game that's going to benefit you and not something that hurts you in the long run. So that's why I say, you know, sometimes we have to, you know, clean out our own closet, which is, you know, holding our other men accountable for their behavior. Be like, yo, brother, we don't roll like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do. So it don't leave it on women to check us about stuff. We got other men to check us on our own stuff. So that's what we do here. And that's why we point stuff out like that. I land my plane on that.
Facts.
There it is. Man, we gotta stop finding ways to lose at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's too many ways to win out here. You know what I'm saying? And if we just boss up and admit that we need each other, you understand what I'm saying? And put our egos to the side and step to the table in the spirit of humility and cooperation, is nothing we can't accomplish, bro. You know what I'm saying? These weirdos out here that just be talking all this nonsense, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they just stay flapping their lips and ain't saying nothing. That's why I had to address it, because, you know, it's really become an impediment, you know, because once somebody starts talking like that, everybody gets triggered and people stop thinking. Everybody just starts reacting. And now you have a quote unquote gender war conversation when that was never the issue. Some people really are in a situation where they've kind of been forced into this way of thinking where, oh, you know, you're not real if you're not, you know, paying more than 50% of the bills, to which I always ask the question, okay, so what is acceptable? 55-45, 49-51. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, really? You know, if I pay 51%, oh, I'm a real man. Like, we gotta get out of this. You know, stop letting people manipulate you into the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You want to be
use your mind.
In a situation where you're using your own mind, you're not seeking the acceptance of people who are not worthy of your presence to begin with. You know what I'm saying? We have to learn to move past those individuals because it has become an impediment and a very, very cumbersome distraction, like real talk. And I'm waiting for people to become more evolved, you know, and think past that. I get it. You know, the hypergamous nature of women, okay, whatever the case may be. But 9 out of 10, you know, if you choose correctly, that's not going to be a conversation that you're going to have to really have too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, because in your, you know, selection process, you've done the proper vetting, you know, to have gotten with a person whose income is comfortable for you, you know, and if you're with this person, you know, I would guess that they're going to be generous and want to give to you. Correct. You understand what I'm saying? So I really don't understand. I've never had anyone that was that mentally unevolved, you know, where we've had to have those type of, in my view, petty discussions. But man, I was just in a group today where they were talking about this. And it's like, bro, I'm just observing, like, wow, we got a long way to go. Some of us really are underdeveloped. You know what I mean? So I just want to put that out there. Rick, I got another question for you, man.
All right.
In a job capacity, right? You know, what benefits do you think are the best to look for when you're looking to a prospective employer or to check for at your current employer in the vein of financial literacy and so forth?
Income.
Well, but income's the obvious, right? I get that.
Well, income is not the obvious because you asking me a question about benefits and trying to insinuate that you go to job for benefits. The only benefit you get out of a job is income. Because anything else you can do yourself if you really wanted to. You can create your own 401k plan. You can go pay for your own insurance. Think of it like this. You go get a job, and I'm a former state worker myself, right?
Okay.
So it's gonna sound like but let's be honest. You get paid probably 20% less than the public sector of your job, 20-30%, because you might get 18% more on your. It just doesn't add up.
Okay.
You go get a $50,000 job because it's going to give you an extra 18% in benefits, as they say. No, give me the 100,000. I'll pay my benefits. I'll put it together.
Yes, I hear you, but there's some jobs that have some ill benefits. And the reason I'm asking this is because, you know, right now I'm in the process of looking for a new job.
Okay.
And you know, there are some places that have benefits that I did not even know that jobs have. You know, for instance, Apple, you know, as a benefit, Apple gives their employees, they give them stock in the company. That's included. That is a benefit. That is one hell of an asset to have Apple stock.
If the company, okay, so I'll give you I had a fraternity brother who was at Amazon before Amazon's big blow, right?
Right.
He was getting stock. Yeah, at that time, that was great because if he would have not spent the stock, it wasn't worth nothing, but he still spent it and cashed out to make his little money. That little $20,000 he accumulated probably would have been $2-3 million right now, right? Great, that's wonderful. But if you go get that position now and get that Amazon stock, it's not going to grow exponentially like that right now. It's probably never going to grow like that again. You miss the wave of it. So that's cool. But you do know you can get a job somewhere else and get the money and actually go buy the stock yourself.
Sure, you can. But
instead of somebody putting you on salary and telling you monkey see, monkey do after 40 hours.
Yeah, but when the company gives it to you, that's free stock.
It's not free. You worked. Let's remember that.
Yeah, you worked.
But then you work, and then they financed it with an equity share, which is brilliant. Because I mean, especially if you did bad work, you ain't getting no money because your equity, that share doesn't go up and down.
Okay, so Major. Okay, so you got one job, Apple, that said that they will give you $70K, and then they'll give you Apple stocks, and then you have another job that says we'll give you $140K, but we ain't got no stocks. Which one you gonna take?
No, I'm not. Obviously, I'm gonna take the money. What I'm saying is, if you have, you know,
you answer the finance guy, is he gonna take the money?
That's not my question. That's not my question.
So Rick, you gonna?
I'm just telling you how I hear it.
Or you gonna take dinner with Jay-Z?
Who? I'm not. Listen. I'm gonna give you one that I saw. I said, now they're talking, right? Are you gonna take the $8,000 or dinner with Cat Williams? And from all the conversations people have, I'm taking the dinner with Cat Williams because they say that man is generous. So I probably get a meal and the money. If it,
I stopped laughing when you threw that out there. Like that's not funny anymore. Wait a minute, what's his number?
what's his number? Because Cat Williams, they say he's very generous. Everybody's like, no, you know, Cat Williams threw me 15,000.
Nah, that's insane. No, that's not the question I'm asking.
I get what you're saying, right? Yeah. So let's say this. It may be an advantage of someone if you don't know, but see, it's still, if you don't know stocks, you definitely shouldn't be taking any stock payment.
I'm not asking a stock question. Listen.
No, you are asking a stock question in that essence. Listen, what benefit, and then you said, hey, Apple gives you stock, right? I
gave you an example. That's
yes. So I'm showing you how that example is like, I want to say, okay, if you don't know, if you insurance, there's nothing, no other benefit but maybe stock that I would take, right? That's the only benefit that I catch. But even with stock, I can't tell someone else to take, because you need to be able to. You might be working at Apple and just moving boxes. You don't know nothing about stocks.
Nah.
No, I'm just saying a person may be that, right?
No, I get you.
Right. And they don't know stocks. And I would always tell you, don't take nothing you don't know. Like you have no idea about it. That shouldn't be leading you in your decision making to be at that company.
What's the parameters in the stocks too? Is there what you call it, stipulations in the stocks? Do you lose half your stocks if you go out early?
No.
Because I know Publix does stocks. I remember a girl, we had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
And I know there were some stipulations on that.
Mm-hmm.
They give stocks from Publix as well, but I don't know.
Not that I know of, but what the broader question I'm asking, I just gave stock as an example.
No, I gave you an example.
But there are some companies that, for instance, this is another big one. There are some companies that offer a pension that you can retire with, and some companies that do not. There's some companies that offer, like you say, the 401k, some that do not, and I'm just in a general sense, what are the
what I'm trying to tell you is, in the general sense, I can only take money. Now, each situation might be different. Let's say I'm a person. Okay, I'll tell you this. If I'm 18 years old,
tuition reimbursement.
I know if I'm 18 years old and I can get on in corrections, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that's 25 years. I'm 18 years old. You add 25 to it, that gives you 43. You'll be 43 when you hit the 25-year-old mark.
Right.
Yeah, and you got a pension, so that means they have to pay you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. You retire at 43, and yeah, that's a good benefit. But I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to jail even if they're paying me to go. I hate that.
Agreed.
So that's me. So that's what I'm saying. Like in general, it's get your money, get your chicken.
Mm-hmm.
What about tuition reimbursement, Rick? That's a good one.
It's good, but they've if that's who you are, yes. That's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, tuition reimbursement, that's another really good one.
That's a good
who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not who you are, that's a waste of your time.
Yeah.
Right.
True. Because some people don't want, to be bothered with that. But like that's how I graduated.
Okay, since we're there, this is one I was arguing that I never understood, that I don't know why the state of Florida doesn't do this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
State of Florida does waive your tuition at state schools if you're a state employee.
Yeah.
But they don't waive it. I would think it would have been a good benefit if they waived it also for your children while you're a state employee.
Okay, fair.
If they did that, I think people would be definitely going in to be a state employee. Of course, you're going to.
Oh, absolutely.
Might think about going nightly to that jail or prison, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I know my child now can go to Florida State, Florida, UCF, USF, Miami, BCC, FIU. There's these schools that they could go for free. I would
Right.
do it there.
And Florida has some solid schools too. That would be a fusion center.
They do.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah. Jacksonville University. What else is underneath that?
I think what you call it is a good school that I think a lot of people don't realize. St. Thomas.
Very St.
St.
Thomas.
They're very expensive schools too. They're not.
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah, they are.
Well, see,
Private ones.
that's
Private ones might be
part of
off
why I
limits.
asked that question.
Barry leads the state of Florida in first time bar exam passing.
Yeah, I heard.
Is that-
and they've
is that
been at
what-
that level for a while too, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that where Benjamin Crump got his law
Yeah,
division at?
the law school is named after him.
Okay, gotcha.
Nice.
I don't know if that's where he got it from, but I know the law school.
No, I mean, like I know he added it to one of the universities. Was that Barry?
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
added it?
His name is the law school is named after him.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm all with the whole go free, get your money and all that stuff. But I can personally attest to, there being benefits that really help you out in a financial capacity that employers offer. I graduated with tuition reimbursement from my company that I work for, and I graduated debt free from college. A lot of cats can't say.
But that's also you.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, to
And
speak
in
to
the
those
general sense, I'm going to sound crazy as a college professor. That's the last thing I do is tell people to go to school.
people. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
It doesn't financially make sense anymore.
it doesn't. It's part of the
I don't
systemic
do that at all.
slavery.
What?
It's the new word slavery because
It
that's
doesn't-
one
Depending
thing.
on what you
That's one
depending on
loan
what you go
that you cannot get from under. Like I know I was talking to this girl
Well, you
way
can get
back,
from under, but I'm
and
not
her
going
mother
to
was 60 years old, and her mother had to take one class so that she don't have to pay back at 60 years old. That's crazy to me.
It is, but
But that's
why
not the problem. I don't think that's the problem. The problem is I hate when I see someone with a degree, and then when you ask them what they do, it has nothing to do with it.
I agree with that.
That's wasted money.
I agree with that.
But it's never wasted money, but it's wasted money.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. But
There
I
should truly be a refund in those instances. If you can't be placed in your field based on what your degree is, there should definitely be some sort of compensation or
Some people
reimbursement,
got degrees
or at
and
least
barely
actively
graduated. That's why.
give me
Because
that too as well.
the jobs that ask for the degrees ask for the transcript. They never ask for the paper. They ask for the transcript. They know you didn't do that well. They just know
True.
you got through. So so like I said, if you have a game plan, if that's your game plan, like I've seen a lot of sisters, matter of fact, take advantage of this. I've seen them work for a company and then go to school, get their nursing degree. That's what they really wanted to do. That's who they are, and go off and do well in nursing, right? Or do
I
well.
know someone did that the other day too. She just we just threw a party for her in a different department. She was working in the education department, and she got the hookup. She left, go do nursing.
So there's these. I'm not saying no. I'm gonna lean into it. Sometimes you just gotta lean into it. Get your chicken. Back. Get your chicken.
Did you what?
Because a lot of the benefits.
Get your chicken.
A lot of the benefits is a way to recruit people into, not to pay them.
Yeah.
To.
Yeah.
Remember,
I feel like you should have
you know it's a tax break as a company if I pay your education.
Say that again.
A tax break for the company if I pay your education.
Right,
True.
but
That's
shit,
it.
it can work out great for you too. The person,
Yeah, I gotta pay taxes as a company regardless,
yeah,
but now I don't have to pay you.
yeah, but I got paid. When I,
Okay, so this is my question: did that company give, as soon as you graduate, did that company give you a pay raise for that degree?
no, I went to another company.
See, but if you would have stayed there, I'm gonna ask her, if you'd have stayed there, would you have gotten a immediate,
Not an immediate
no?
one. Not an immediate one.
See,
No.
that's the problem I have.
Mm.
That's the problem I have with that benefit. It's not really a benefit. If I go to school, you pay me to go to school, I go to school, I complete, and this is a benefit, then you're benefited from it too. I should immediately got paid because you wouldn't have paid me. You wouldn't have hired me at the same rate if I was miseducated.
No, they did do for other people who stayed with the company. They did. So I guess I can infer that I probably would have, but it's not like immediate as soon as you graduate. You got to go and sit down with HR, and
it should be immediate. You should turn it. They should be asking for your grades anyhow, right? I'm paying for it to go. I need to pay attention. So absolutely. I turn in that transcript. Go ahead and retroactively, the date of conferred. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, to me, it's not a. I understand why you do certain things as a company because I understand. Yeah. I do understand corporate finance. So there is also, remember, there's corporate finance. So I'm not mad at them for doing that. It's the same reason why you go to Taco Bell and you in the line and say, "Hey, would you want to donate the Red Cross?" Why would I donate the Red Cross through you so you could get? Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you what's so funny. They get to claim that whole tax benefit, right?
Yeah.
Well, they collect $100 million. They get the tax benefit of $100 million, but only have to give Red Cross 10%.
I heard it was 1%.
It's 10%.
No? It's 10?
It has to be 10%. The other 90% can be used. You can now put it in your balance sheet as administrative expenses. You hired someone, or you gave pay raises so they can deal with this part of your.
Yeah, that's how they scam people. But I mean, I hear you, and I guess it's different for different folks. But going to college for free, and then being able, see, that's where your hustle kicks in, because I hustled my degree. Then being able to go somewhere else where you now have a degree, and I didn't even want to work for that company no more. Keep it real. You know what I'm saying? I go somewhere else, I make 35% more because I've now earned a degree that I got for free.
Yes,
that's definitely
and that's what he's saying. He's saying that he understands that. Like he said, that was you. That worked for you.
That was
you already had a plan.
But in general, I can't say that to people.
So, but you got to understand, there's some people that probably work for the company that went and got a degree. And this is what I was talking to Rick earlier about. A while back about that I wanted to do a show on Manifestations that talks about degrees, because a lot of times a lot of our children, adults go to school for degrees that ain't worth shit, because they don't even tell you about some of the degrees don't even kick in effect until you have a master's level, and then some that don't even kick in effect till you have a PhD level. So you going for 4 years thinking that you're getting a degree, and you like, I ain't gotta do no school no more, I gotta do degree. They're like, yo, you can't even get into this unless you got the master's part of it.
Yeah.
Psychology.
Is that.
Yep.
Psychology.
Yeah.
I tell most kids. No, I'm saying I tell most kids, for the most part, unless, and this is the exception, unless you have a well thought out plan that was come up with between yourself, your parents, and a solid academic advisor that knows what the hell they're talking, not just advising them on what to take, but actually how this is going to apply to your life, how you're going to make a living off of this. Unless that's the case, the only fields that are really worth going to school for are STEM fields. If it ain't engineering, if it ain't mathematics, technology, science, or whatever, even cybersecurity, you don't really need that. There's none of the education programs for IT services. That's really only now just starting to come to a front. People are now starting to get those degrees, but they really don't have as much weight. We're still sort of in the area where certifications matter more. So a lot of companies will, not all of them, but a lot of companies will hire a person that's got certifications and no degree, and they'll offer them, we'll pay for your education if you have certifications, as opposed to them saying, well, you have the degree, you have the master's in information science or whatever, and paying for your certifications. Like if you're already in the company, in a lot of cases, that's a built-in with the IT field. A lot of companies just as a default, they'll go ahead and pay you or compensate you for a certification up to a certain level. But in terms of initial hiring, a lot of companies will still hire you with certifications and no degree, than vice versa. So that's starting to change now.
I'm gonna give you the change on the other end that's happening, and most people not paying attention. Most colleges have stopped doing degrees, and they're giving certificates. Every college major, they have certificate. Even Harvard does it now at this point. Harvard does it. Gee, I got a certificate from Dartmouth. So that's I mean, and my certificate is not even a STEM, it's strategic leadership. So there's yeah, you got you hit it on the head, Bobby. You have to have a plan and get with some people who really can help you, real people. Obviously, hopefully your parents, a real academic advisor, a mentor, whatever, and get a game plan. Now, in that game plan, if it's necessary to have a degree, by all means.
Absolutely.
But you'll be surprised. Right now, I'm telling people, there's a shortage on electricians. Forget black electricians. There's a shortage on electricians altogether. Altogether.
A lot of those trades, man.
All together.
All the trade immigrants that
is not going to be a degree.
You mean not for long?
Yeah.
You mean not for long?
A lot of these tradesmen are immigrants coming in, so
Oh no, because they can't get the paperwork.
Yeah, see, they go get the game with minimal debt. That's the crazy part. You with your K-12 education and your highfalutin master's degree that you still will be paying off for the next 3 decades. Meanwhile, Raul and them just came over. They about to go get the work, earning what you owe.
Yeah, they're getting free monthly stimulant packages. They're about to get 2 years free rent, and they go to school for trades. They're giving them free schooling on trades. So yeah,
I mean, and I'm not mad at them. That's no, they get it. What I'm
at the end of the day, we can't convince
kids to go and get this education.
We've been telling our kids to go. We've been telling our kids to go on this football field for too long. It goes back to what I was saying. It's just not making financial sense.
It isn't, because everything that we are doing, we're outsourcing to somebody else. Whether it's pavement, electrical work, roofing, all of that stuff.
Tuition is $75 an hour. After these, as an apprentice, you're making good money.
Yeah,
I got a brother I'm friends with on Facebook. He's actually, is he it? I think he's in. I think he actually is in electrical. No, he's in contracting. He's got his stuff to be a contractor, but he's been documenting his whole. He's been documenting his process over the years. It's been rough. There really is a lot of racist practices that they got going on. They really do a lot to try and keep us out of there, but. If you can stay the course and stay focused, you set. And he's been really going through being transparent with his process, man. And it's amazing. But I'm going to use a term that I'm sure you're probably going to jump on. But when it comes to how we've been doing things in terms of with our children specifically, but there's something that we're going to have to start doing a lot more of and being very, very high level with it. CBA. Cost benefit analysis. The cost, and not just dollars and cents, going beyond that, but just the non-monetary resources as well too. Your intellectual investment, how much you're thinking about this, how much you're focused on this, how much tunnel vision you're willing to have where you're sacrificing other possible options out there because you're so hell-bent on going this one direction. Even if it's not going to give you the best return on your investment. Got to start figuring out, is everything I'm throwing in the direction of this one thing worth everything else I'm overlooking? Because if so, do it. But if not, if you're throwing all your chips on making the NFL, or you're throwing all your chips on being the next, I tell people,
I know so many all-state, all-American high school players that, but I don't know enough NFL players. As much as we're so crazy in South Florida in particular. Really remember that if I ask you, when was the last time you know someone's son? Because we at that age. Whose son? What's our last friend that had a son in the NFL? It's not common.
Real talk.
It's
playing the lottery. It's playing the lottery, bro.
It's playing the lottery, and I'm not trying to tell no one not to go play. It just doesn't. It cost benefit analysis. You hit it on the head.
Real talk.
It's just not. A kid spending almost 20 years invested into something that doesn't pan out. Then I had a couple of friends that everybody thought was going to be in the NFL, and I watched them when they don't make it. Just now they got to go to rehab because they're picking up a habit trying to put themselves together, their mental health.
And there's a whole bunch of every one of us just about knows at least a few people that should have been on somebody's team or was the next to blow legitimately. And for one reason or another, it just didn't pan out. Boulevard
that goes back to what Major was saying. I think that football thing is just a benefit for colleges because it's the easy way to get a scholarship. So you're really using the football to get this to hopefully get a scholarship in at a college. But even the scholarships now from the colleges have gotten smart. They're not even giving you 4 years like they used to. They're giving you year by year basis.
Yeah, they've always done that. We just don't know it until we get there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought it was 4 years straight guarantee.
No. That is rare. It's rare.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because there have been cases where some players can't go ahead and get the full amount, or in certain circumstances, like if they're injured or something and they can't play anymore, they might honor that and let them go ahead and finish it out. And I think that's probably one of the only exceptions. But like you said, for the most part, it's on a year by year basis. So
yeah. Well, man, this was a definitely great show. I know we got to get up out of here. Before we get into the crown check for tonight, we wanted our special guest to wrap up, give us some good things about today's segment and what people should know, and then we'll get into our next segment, which is crown check, and we'll get up out of here.
Okay, we'll do two things real quick.
Okay.
Might not be finance, but just business into smart people. Smart people hire people to tell them what to do, not hire people to tell them what to do. Does that make sense? I hired you so you can tell me what to do. I'm smart enough to know I need to hire you so you can tell me what to do. I don't want you coming every 5 minutes asking me what you need to do. That doesn't make sense.
112%, absolutely
true. And this comes from that. This comes from the conversation I had at Networking Ball. The 4 master skills, right? One is capital. That's why I believe that there's nothing wrong with having a job, because the job gets you some capital.
Correct.
A skill. You got to get you some capital, and sometimes capital may be just human capital, resource, whatever it is, but you need some capital. 2, figure out either you need to learn the code. If you don't learn the code, you will be spending capital with somebody because they're gonna have to code for you. Everything's a software now, right?
Yep.
Content is king.
Very much so.
Whatever you do, if you can make content out of it, you've now created another stream of income, which gets you more capital, then gives you more leverage, right? And then collaboration, learning to collaborate. Teamwork make the dream work. These are the 4 C's: capital, code, content, collaboration. Now with that, these skills, you can leverage your time properly and get more money out of your time.
Okay.
Get more money out of your time. So just make sure you don't walk over dollars trying to save pennies.
Bars.
Mm-hmm.
All right, take your time, Pastor.
Pastor.
All right, so definitely we're going to get into our crown check for tonight. I think it lines up with tonight's segment. So our crown check for tonight is the wonderful Miss Suzanne Shank, a $2 trillion businesswoman, co-founder and CEO, Seabrook Branford Shank, the most successful Black woman on Wall Street. So Susan Shank is a president, CEO, and a co-founder of Shibert William Shank and CEO LLC, a full-service investment banking firm consistently ranked among the most active underwriters of publicly traded equity, investment grade corporate debt, and municipality debt offering. Founded in 1996, the firm holds the distinction of being the top-ranked minority woman-owned investment banking firm in the country. Ms. Shank began her professional career as a design engineer with General Dynamics Electric Boat Division. After pursuing her MBA in finance, she transitioned to Wall Street, working at various boutique firms before founding William Shank in 1996. Ms. Shank has been recognized for her leadership in the financial service industry by Crain's New York, U.S. Banker Magazine, the Municipality of Forum of New York, Black Enterprise, Ebony Magazine, and the Bond Buyer, among others. Shank was inducted into the Academy of Distinguished Engineering Alumni at the Georgia Institution of Technology, received the Savannah College of Art and Design Woman of Vision Award, and was named one of USA's Today's Woman of the Century in 2020. All right.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
It is. Shout out to that sister. And she's
Salute
married
her.
to a brother.
Actually, is she married to a brother? Oh,
Married
Lord.
to a brother. Let me go ahead and put that out there. That's
I'm about to say, damn.
sure. They
I was so happy because that's actually something so people ask me, what is it that I want to really teach you? Is private equity firms. I think that's the business that we don't do enough. You don't have to, we don't only have to do it at the level. We can get it to the level she at without having to start there. We can start small. We can definitely start small.
Okay.
There's money in it. That's how the other side, the majority win.
Exactly. All right, Bobby, Drake, Major, y'all take us out.
Listen, real talk. Shout out to our special guest, Professor Rick Lebrun. The man is doing his thing out here. Go look him up. Listen to some of his advice. He's giving really good game. A couple things that I didn't even know that I learned on today's program. So that's a blessing. And financial literacy is a beautiful thing. But I wanted to bring it back to how are we handling this in the vein of when we are dealing with each other in dating and relationships, because real talk, man, if your money's together and you're, like Rick said, making a plan and, you have a goal and you are working together as a unit, it's going to be easier for you to reach that goal, if you have someone helping you. You know what I mean? And I think that is something that we really need to start doing. We find ways to lose, and that's just counterproductive. We really need to come together in the spirit of cooperation and start making things happen. And I just want everybody to take that with them. I'm sure this sister that we just discussed, Sister Suzanne, Suzanne Shank, she's not having 50-50 conversations with her dude. It's totally irrelevant. They're working together, they're building, and they're checking things off their list. They're a unit, and they're moving forward together. And that's the mindset that we all need to get in. And gentlemen, before, as men, before we start, to step to a sister or even get the idea to go and step to a sister, we need to have our financial literacy game up and so forth, especially if we're going to lead, because you can't lead if you're coming from a place of ignorance. You know what I mean? So the brothers, that's a gem for you. Get yourself together before getting involved with the sisters, and get yourself involved with a sister who has the right presence of mind to, see how you guys can work together and help each other, and someone who's willing to cooperate with you. And I'm telling you, I've seen it myself and other people that I've dealt with. You grow by leaps and bounds, and you get things done in half the time because you got double the workers. So that's what it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful show. And I hope that we can encourage more unity with this type of conversation.
Absolutely. So financial literacy. Look, the reality is it doesn't matter how you feel about finances. You need to be on some level of mastery when it comes to finances. The reality is we live in a world that calls for transactions. It's impossible to be self-sufficient without resources, period. You need to be able to not just make money, but make the most of your money. Money is very special in the fact that I'd say it's an amplifier. It's a very powerful tool. Depending on how you use your money, it can either catapult you forward or it can cripple you. Money's ultimately be a tool, but if you are not careful, if you are not disciplined, if you're lazy, if you don't want to do the due diligence and understand how to make your money work, how to utilize it, then ultimately money will make you its tool. So you can either run your paper or your paper can run you. And there's some people right now who literally have George Washington's presidential hand all the way up their ass. You can see his fingertips through their mouth. That's how bad they got it, because they simply can't manage their funds. And the idea that throwing more money onto the pile is going to fix the problem is false. I saw a statistic. I was trying to find it during the course of the show, but I saw a statistic. It was either yesterday or earlier today that said roughly 1/3, about 33% of people who make six figures are living essentially paycheck to paycheck, which is absolutely batshit crazy.
It is, but it's
You're
real.
making $100,000, $120,000, $140,000, $160,000 annually. I'm going to say take home pay, and that you're paycheck to paycheck. That's crazy. How can that be? Simple. It's because there's poor management of resources going on. You're making money, but the money's going nowhere. It's like you have a hole in your pocket. My grandfather used to say, it's not how much you make, it's how much you can keep.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible to be earning $41,000 annually or $50,000 annually, and financially you are doing better off than somebody that's earning twice your salary, simply because the person making less is able to manage the resources more. I remember when I was coming up, my mother stressed the importance of knowing how to, not necessarily doing it if you don't have to, but it's important to know how to live on a portion of your income, how to live on half of your income. God forbid if you lose your job or whatnot, can you cut it? Can you cut back? Or are you able to scale it back and still able to, survive? And a lot of people can't do that. Like I said, they literally try to earn more money because they feel like, well, the only way to get out the hole is to spend your way out the hole. And that's about as useful as using a jackhammer to dig yourself out of a pit. You're going to keep on going until you hit China. So it's important to understand your paper. Financial literacy, don't take it for granted. There's a ton of resources out there, like Rick said. You got good old-fashioned YouTube University. There are courses on Udemy that you can take. You also have some online courses that are offered for free from a lot of these upper-level universities. So over the years, a lot of these Ivy League institutions and other well-known notable colleges, they have taken it upon themselves to offer classes in different areas that, no, you're not going to get a degree from it, but you can get a certificate if it matters to you. And the quality of the education you're getting in the program, it might not be as in-depth as one that you're paying tuition for, but you're still getting a world-class education. Harvard does it. Princeton does it. MIT does it. You got Khan Academy that's out there, free learning applications that you can make use of. There's financial books. There's all kind of stuff out there. The point is, information is out there. It is readily available. Google is your friend. You got these damn phones that run almost about a car note now. Got the whole world on these little squares. There's no excuse. But however, if you're too lazy, if you're not motivated, if you're not interested, if you have other things to do, then it doesn't matter how much access and how much resources are out there, you're not going to take advantage of them. So you have to want it for you. We can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. No one can do that for you. You got to get that umption in your system. Thanks for joining us. Make sure that you share, like, subscribe, tell somebody to tell somebody about these somebodies. That's all. We catch y'all next week, same time, a little earlier, same place. Brother Rick, we appreciate you. Thanks for blessing us.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, gentlemen, let's do this again. Yay.
Definitely. Don't forget next week, another dope show we'll have for you. And definitely thank you again, Rick, for coming out here, spitting nothing but gems and information, especially an area that is so much needed in our community. Finance is one of our Achilles heel for a lot of people, and just giving them great game in order for them to advance themselves and be better in that field is just unbelievably great. And thank you for that. And we definitely gonna have to line up where we want to start. If people want to go to college, we want to show them the fields that preferably they should get into, and not these dead end fields where they get the degree and then they have to get another degree because that degree ain't get them nowhere past the first door. So we'll definitely link up and get that done. And I appreciate everybody tonight, and congratulations on the Chiefs for winning. I guess all three of us have to see next year if our team end up in the Super Bowl. All right. Great fought game, Major. Just if you ain't first, you're last place, Ricky Bobby.
No disrespect to San Francisco, but the moral story is never send a Brock Purdy to do a Joe Burrow job.
Boy, it's tough, boy.
Enjoy Mahomes. We coming next year, baby.
Dolphins in there, baby. It's gonna come through.
Oh God! Oh, the Dolphins ain't never gonna make it to the Super Bowl. Y'all can just hang that.
Hey, you never know. 2005, 85. Hey, you never know significance behind it. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace out, family. We out of this thing. Peace.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.